Growing up, my childhood was not easy. We were very poor, so my father forced me to work long, hard hours. He suffered from terrible mood swings. He was always shouting at me. Some days it just became too much. But there is one day that I will always remember. I was 14, cleaning the windows. I saw a notice for a public execution. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I imagined how the criminal might look, big and strong and dangerous. The execution date arrived. I squeezed my way through the crowd. I was so shocked. There was no strong, dangerous man. Only a very young man trembling as he awaited his fate. He was so young that he hardly had any stubble. I couldn't watch. As I looked back, the boy's body was hanging limp and lifeless. He had fair hair just like me. That experience motivated me to pursue law. Day and night I studied hard. What I'd read about in the law books was actually very different in reality. Most lawyers were too scared to take on cases involving stoning or hanging. And I wasn't scared. When defending a case, you think of them as your family. It's like your own child is burning in the fire created by the authorities and everyone is just standing by. It became my life's purpose to save these young people. Over the next 14 years, I defended many of these juvenile offenders, nearly 20 of whom were saved. One day I received a call about a young man who was only 17 when he committed his crime. I asked, "What's his name?" He answered, "Behnoud Shojaei." A fight had broken up. Behnoud intervened. One of the boys insulted Behnoud's dead mother. Behnoud grabbed a piece of glass, stabbed the boy, and fled the scene. The boy subsequently bled to death. Upon learning this, Behnoud immediately handed himself in and confessed to the police. He was sentenced on the 2nd of October, 2006. He was just 17 years old when he committed his crime. Over the next 3 years, Behnoud's execution date had been set and postponed 6 times. On the 7th occasion, I was summoned to Evin prison at 3:30 a.m. It was still dark when the victim's family arrived. The crowd rushed toward them, begging them to forgive Behnoud. I remember the victim's father calmed the crowd, telling them he didn't want to actually see Behnoud executed, but he wanted to see the noose around his neck. They brought Behnoud in, handcuffed and shackled. He looked so pale and thin. His nose was running. He fell to his knees, begging for mercy. He was shaking, saying, "Please forgive me. My own mother is dead. You can be like my mother now. Please forgive me." She said, "Fine, let's see what happens." We all went to the execution room. A soldier helped Behnoud up and placed the noose around his neck. Finally, the official turned to the victim's parents, saying, "Here is Behnoud. What do you want to do now?" The victim's sister threw herself at her mother's feet, pleading her to forgive him. We were all shocked by what happened next. I recall they charged toward him. We all shouted, "No, no." After that, everything went black. Outside, the crowd were praying for Behnoud. I broke the news to them. They were crying so much. I cried so much. Yes, the stories of these cases are really very painful.